Hello, back again to do another unboxing and review. Today we're going to be looking at a 4K Wi-Fi Action Camera, and it comes to us from, I have no clue. So, yeah, if you look at the front here of this box, there's no manufacturer name on it. I don't think the company's called 4K Wi-Fi Action Camera, or 4K 30 frames per second, or Ultra HD. So, who makes this? I don't know. Now, if we turn it around, we see sports cam there, but I think that's more of a description of what the thing is, and not the company that makes it. And on the back, again, nothing, and on the side, yeah, okay. So, yeah, I don't know who makes this camera, and you're probably thinking at this point, then why are we doing this review? And if I want to buy this camera, how am I even going to find it? I don't know what to look up, and if I put in 4K Action Camera, I'm going to get a whole slew of cameras. So, and that's a good question, and actually your answer is kind of in that question. The fact that when you look up 4K Wi-Fi Action Camera, you're going to get a whole slew of cameras. Now, some of them, of course, will probably be brands that you heard of, GoPro, etc. But a lot of them are going to be like this camera, which is an unbranded generic. Then this review actually does make sense because when you do look up 4K Wi-Fi Action Camera, quite a few of them are going to be unbranded generics. So, this review is essentially a review of all those that have the same specs as this one, which I'm now going to show you. Okay, so I typed this out. This is actually on the back of the box, all this information, but I thought it'd be a lot easier if it was bigger, so I went ahead and typed this up so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to first go scroll this right by the camera, and then we'll come back and kind of go into the important bits. Okay, so let's start with the first line. Image sensor, 16 megapixel. If this is true, that's a really good deal for the money. Now, as you may know, a lot of these cameras in this price range, they'll use interpolation to up the effective megapixel. And if you don't know what that is, essentially the camera sees a few dots or pixels, right? And then a computer program goes ahead and fills in the space in between. So essentially half of your image, or at least a portion of your image, is not real. It's actually just the computer filling in detail. And you could say it's fake, but it's actually an average of the pixel on the left and the right, or up and down, or whatever. And it uses those to figure out what it should put in the middle. And so yeah, and then they say that it adds in more detail. So, but this one's claiming that the sensor itself is 16. So if that's the case, that's a big plus. Alright, then image resolution, as you may expect, you can, select different, you can select the highest, or you can go down lower. I assume to save space on your SD card or whatever. Video compression, blah, blah, blah. Let's just go down to, what was the other thing I wanted to point out? Yes, right here. Battery detachable. Big win. Yeah, anytime, especially in something like this where you probably go through batteries quite quick, since you only have 90 minutes when it's fully charged, you can just pop out one battery and slap in another one, and you're good to keep going. And you don't have to hold a wire to a battery pack and do all that. It's just like, yeah, quick reload. So that's a big plus. Okay, and yes, also with the waterproof, as you'll see here on the box, they say that it's to 100 feet, and it got the little icon of a snorkel. Anyway, so that's your waterproof. They don't give us like an IP rating, so anyway, and of course that has to do with the camera once it's in its case. Okay, the camera itself is not waterproof. Okay, and then applications, well, yes, telling you what you can do with the camera, but I'm sure you can figure that out for yourself. Okay, so let's go do a quick around the box here. So there we have the camera. It's one of those, the item is exposed, you can see it. Yeah, there's a little more jiggle than I'd like. I think adding a little of those ties in there would have been a benefit, and it just makes it feel a little more secure and a little more high-end when it doesn't rattle around. But anyway, it is staying in spot somewhat, so that's, I guess, a pass. Alright, then down here, some of these icons here are just kind of what we covered already, again with the 100 feet of water resistance. Again, it is Wi-Fi. Has its own Wi-Fi, evidently. Some picture of people doing extreme sports. There evidently is a QR code for an app. I have not looked at the app or even tried downloading it yet, so I don't know about that so far. Okay, now I'm going to the back. This whole thing you already saw from my type up. And alright, and here we have a guy doing skydiving. Okay, and then again we have some essentially more of the same information for the front, but with bigger, colorful pictures. And I wanted to go here. They also show what's included, and it looks like we get micro SD card. According to this picture, it says we are going to get an 8 gigabyte card with a speed class of 10. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, I have a 128 gig card or whatever, but the thing is that to have a card included, I always think that's a plus. I mean, you're ready to go pretty much right out of the box, so that's always nice to have. And of course, there is our battery, which I'm very happy to know is detachable. Okay, so, yeah, I would say overall the package impression, it's pretty good. It's clear, light colors, blue and white. It's easy to read. I do like the rather extensive spec sheet on the back. Not every product does that, so that is pretty good. Hopefully everything that's on there is actually correct or true, but anyway, it's nice to see that and yeah. So, okay, well, with that, let's get to the unboxing. Alright, so the way it was closed is it had these little circle stickers here and here. I've gone ahead and peeled those up. And now to open it, just going at the top. Okay. Okay, so everything was pretty much on that tray. Nothing left in the box. Alright, so let's see what we got. We'll start with the accessories part at the bottom here. So we have USB to micro USB. So I guess that would be to charge it, and due to the cord, I'm assuming that's also data transmission. Alright, we have a mounting bracket. Okay. And alright, we have another. Alright, this looks to be one of those peel to expose adhesive type deals. Alright, I guess it screws in there or something. Alright, more mounting hardware. Yep, more hardware. This looks to be, okay, a bracket also. Screw on that, but 2 places to screw things on. And alright. Okay, there you go. This is pretty important, so alright. And yes, even more mounting hardware. So, yeah, for mounting hardware, yeah, we already have quite a bit of stuff here. And, okay. Now, there's more. We have some of these stick to expose. These look to be the same that came on here. Oh, okay, yeah, so you have the one that's on there, and then you have 2 extras. We have Velcro. Oh, and they're not all the same either, so yeah, let's look at these guys. So, we have these thin ones. There's 2 of those. Then there's, oh, okay, this is like a strap actually. And, oh, look, you have a little clasp there. Alright, and then there's even one more. Alright, this appears to be similar to the other one. Okay, so you have 2 of the strap clasps, and then 2 of the Velcro thinner one. Alright. Alright, we have our manual down here. I'm still looking for manufacturer's names. I still don't see one, but anyway. Alright, so let's just look at the manual real quick. It is in fact in English. So evidently there must have been other color options. This one appears to be white. Oh, then they have to show it inside the waterproof case. Battery doors on the bottom. What's what on the camera. Oh, okay, and here's the included accessories, so now we can add names to them. We'll see the waterproof case when we get up to the camera, but you have the bicycle bracket, is the one that looks like it has feet on it. The mount 1, mount 2, so you have those two mounts. Back clip, that was this guy here. And, oh, this one was the helmet pedestal. Okay. And, oh, I was talking about the card. Where did it go? It's in my hand, of course. Alright, so here it is. And I don't know if the camera will zoom this close, but at least on the card, what it says is 8 gigabyte, and then it has that class 10, or speed rating, or whatever, 10. The 10 in the circle. So, okay. Alright, and it comes in a little case. So, it looks like we got everything, but of course, let's look at the camera now. Alright. So, oh, yeah, and that was where the other mount 2 is there. So, this was, remember, mount 1, and mount 2 was already on attached to the camera, which is in the waterproof case. Yeah. I assume these are buttons here. Okay, so I'm going to open it out of its little protective shell. Oh, that's kind of cool. Alright, so this here. Yeah, okay, that's a cool hinge system there. And let's see how tight of a seal there was on this thing. Yeah, not bad. It looks like is that a gasket? Yeah, so there is some gasket material going around here. And the camera itself. Oh. Actually, not bad. It's actually a little heavier. Again, it's not really heavy, but there's actually some mass to it. I was afraid it was going to be like super light and kind of cheap feeling, but not really. This surface I'm touching here on the front is kind of like a rubberized, so soft touch, I guess you could say. And this part here is just plastic, but it feels rather robust. Has a little pattern in there, and that actually is a pattern. Yeah, so it's not just a penciled or penned on there, but it actually does have some texture. Although overall it's still pretty smooth. Here, oh, look at that, HD out. So we have an extra port, and of course charging, and an SD card. So yeah, that's a nice addition. I wasn't expecting that. And at the top we have an LED, which is tucked in there. And here's your OK, which I'm assuming is your shutter button as well. And on this side we have two buttons. Also, is that like either a microphone? I'm assuming that's a microphone or speaker. Not sure, but anyway, there are some holes there. And then at the bottom we have our battery door, which I must say actually blends in real well. I mean, yeah, when I do this you can see it, but straight on you almost don't even see it, except where you put your thumbnail. So yeah, that's pretty. Let's look at the back, the screen here. The screen, it does come with a little screen protector already on there. This film here is kind of frosty, but I'm thinking it's still transparent enough to see through, so I will be keeping that on. It's free screen protector, right? Why not? Alright, so let's go ahead and have a look at the lens here. Yeah, we're getting quite a bit of reflection. and that fisheye there is what gives it the 160-degree wide view. However, I'm looking in the lens right now, and yeah, there actually, well, of course, beyond that fisheye part, there is actually appears to be a lens in there. So it's not, I'm not sure if that lens within there is actually plastic or glass, but whatever, at least it's not a pinhole. So that's good. Okay, and one other thing I almost missed is this thing down here. I'm not sure what that is at this time. Is it a flash? We'll have to find out. So far, without even testing the camera, it is a little better than I thought it would be. So things are looking up at this point. We didn't look at the battery. Talking about charging, I should probably look at that, right? Now, I could obviously just plug it in and start charging, but it said that we had a removable battery. And I was very happy about that, so I got to confirm that that's actually true. So opening up the battery door. Oh. Alright. Up. This is cool, the fact that they put this in here. So I am going to do what the instruction says, and I'm going to pull up with it on second thought. Alright, there we go. So we have rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Now, okay, initially I thought this was a battery insulator, but it doesn't appear to be, because here are the contacts, and as you can see, the contacts are not being blocked by this. So, yeah, I guess this here isn't a battery insulator, but rather just a little lifting tab. Alright, so, since that's the case, don't rip this off. Leave that on there for ease. Alright, putting back the battery. And make sure I get this right. This goes down. Okay, yeah, so this goes down here. And how does it really like lock in there? The little, I guess it just snaps closed. Let's do that. Alright. So, yeah, it fits in there. It doesn't really have a like a spring tab to make sure it stays closed. And I'm pretty sure this cover wouldn't come off on its own. I would have liked to have actually one of those things where you have to pull it down to make sure, and then it clicks when you push it closed. But it looks like we don't have that. So, yeah, I suppose that'll work though. And if you keep it in this, well, then you really don't have to worry about the battery coming out. But alright, so, but I would like to say it's not falling out on its own, so I guess that does suffice. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and charge it up, and I'll be back. Alright, so I had the chance to go ahead and charge up the device. On the back here, we have two LEDs. They're on the side here, and they help to let you know what status it's in as far as charging and what it's doing. Sometimes they stay solid, sometimes they blink, and that all means different stuff. But before we get into looking at the actual menus, and I guess you could call it the operating system of this device, let's go over the buttons real quick. So on this side, you have the up and down, and as you may guess, that helps us navigate up and down within the menus. Now on the top here, this OK button is not only your shutter button, but it's also how you select, so it's kind of like the enter key on your keyboard. Alright, now over here, this is, as you may have guessed, the power button, but it's also your mode select, and it also helps you select different tabs within menus that have more than like one page, okay, or yeah, more than one tab. So let's go ahead. That's what you need to know for buttons, and let's go ahead and power it on. To do that, I'm going to push and hold the power button, and I'll hold that until this little blue light here comes on in the corner. So pushing and holding, and I release because it's on the blue light. Alright, so I was kind of hoping that at that screen we'd finally get the manufacturer's name, but no. Okay, anyway, so right now we are in video mode, as you can tell by the little icon there in the upper left. I have the highest setting for the video, 4K, 30 frames per second, and I have a SD card, micro SD card in there. And also, Wi-Fi is currently turned off, so that's grayed. I don't know how it's coming up on the camera, but that's grayed out right now, so I'm not using Wi-Fi. And of course, on the far right, the upper right corner, and it turned off because I didn't do anything for a second. So I just push the power button again, and the screen comes back on. Okay, so then on the upper right hand we have our battery level. Okay, now to go to the next mode, I'm going to push that mode button, again the button on the front of the camera, and here we are in camera mode, or still shot. And I have once again the highest setting, which is 16 megapixels. Alright, so that's pretty much that. And if I hit the mode button again, okay, now you may see there's a little man running here, that little icon, and you also see next to it we have 720p, 120 frames per second. So this is, I guess, like your action shot, and it's pretty cool that you can jump straight to that by just hitting the mode button. You don't have to go into a menu to get this. Alright, but if I push the mode button one more time, we go to, well, this is where your stored files would be displayed, but I don't have any now, so I'll push the mode button again. Now we are at the settings page. Now to actually get into this, what you do is you just push the OK or the shutter button at the top, and now you see now we're actually in the menus. So you can see here the first tab is for video. So we have video resolution, recording sound, yeah, so the mic's on, time lapse, loop recording, slow motion, and that's what we have for video. Now if I want to go to the next tab, which is still shot, you go ahead and push the mode button, again the button on the front of the camera, and that takes us to the next tab. So here, as you may guess, we have photo resolution, timed, auto, and drama shot. Alright, and then in case you wonder what drama shot is, I'm just going to go into that real quick. So we have closed, which is like off, is which I have selected, but you also have 3P-S, 5P/S, 10P/S, and that. Okay. So I'll keep that off. Go. Alright, let's go to the next tab. So going, you don't necessarily have to go up, but I did anyway. And then hit the mode button to jump to the next tab. And here is, okay, we have exposure, and that's kind of important, so let's go into that. You have 0, 1, 2, 3, and then on here we have the negatives, -3, -2, -1, and 0. We'll leave it at 0. Alright, then we have white balance. There you get auto, sunny, cloudy, incandescent, and fluorescent. Alright, now we'll leave it in auto. Here's where you turn on the Wi-Fi. We have image rotation, diving mode, and light source frequency. Let's see what we have for that. Okay, the typical 50 or 60. I'll leave it in 50. Although I could have selected auto, but that's okay. LED indicator light, I have that on. Now white light, I didn't know what this was, so I mean I guessed it was a white. Oh, it says white LED. So I was pretty sure. I thought, but let's just go ahead and turn it on. So you can go ahead and turn it on, and when you do that, yes, so the light, that is an LED that's on the front. Now I'm not sure if this is like a flash or just essentially a flashlight, but anyway, that's how you can turn it on. Oh, and also there, as you saw, there was an SOS, so you can cause it to blink and all that. We'll turn that off to save battery. So yeah, off. Pretty cool. Alright, well, we have an auto screensaver, an auto shutdown, also where you can turn on or off your watermark as far as the time, and I currently don't have it on. Alright, so then let's just jump to the next there. Now here's more of like your settings where you have language, your date and time, format, to use your SD card, format it, and also reset the factory settings, and also firmware version. Okay, so, and the last one takes you to the exit, which is the X, much like on your PC computer, and click the OK button. Okay, and now once you do that, we're back to where we started, which is the video mode. So, yeah, it's actually a little more than I expected as far as options on this little device here, but it's I'd say enough to make it an adequate camera, especially in the form factor that this is in. So, all right, so an important feature of our 4K Wi-Fi Action Cam is, well, just that, the Wi-Fi part. So I thought I'd go over real quickly how to get that up and running. Now, we've already seen that you can go into the settings menu on the camera, and there's a box for Wi-Fi, and you check it. And once you do that, the Wi-Fi from this device, and that's important, I'll say it again, the Wi-Fi from this device turns on. meaning you don't need to be at your home or your office or your school or whatever and using their Wi-Fi or your Wi-Fi or the whatever. This device transmits its own Wi-Fi. Okay, so the other side of that is you're going to obviously need the Wi-Fi on your tablet or phone or whatever device you're planning on receiving the video on. You're going to need the Wi-Fi turned on that device as well. Now, there's one other thing. We need to have the right program, or as it's called nowadays, app, installed on your phone, tablet, whatever. Now that particular program is titled XDV, so X-Ray Delta Victor, and I have it right here. All right. So I went ahead and just searched for it on Google Play. I'm pretty sure the QR code that was on this box and instruction manual for this would have taken you to the same spot, but I like to go there on my own and know what I'm getting into. So talking about what you're getting into, the app is in fact free, and the permissions seem to make sense. There's one odd thing where you have to have the GPS turned on your phone or tablet, and I don't quite understand why, because I've used one of these, a similar app, actually just not too long ago for the Cookie Cam. That app did not need GPS turned on, so I'm not sure why this one does. I tried using this without the GPS turned on. It just backs you out of the program. So, alright, so I had to turn on the GPS, but that's a little aside. Now, getting it connected is pretty straightforward. Once you have the Wi-Fi in both devices on, you go ahead and open up the app. Within the app, this will come up as one of the possible Wi-Fi networks. You'll probably see all the other Wi-Fi networks around you. So you're going to want to select the 4K Action Cam, or it's something titled very similar to that. And you're going to go ahead and click or select or whatever, touch that. And then on this screen, there will be a code displayed. The code I got was very generic, but anyway, and then you will push that code into your tablet or smartphone, and then the connection will be made. So, alright, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and test it. Okay, so I got this all set up to demonstrate. We got the dinosaur pail out there, and what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the camera that you're viewing through away from the scene, and we'll view it remotely on my smartphone here. So I'll turn it away. Okay. So you can see there it is, the video being shot, and just to show you that it is real time and not just a static picture, I'm going to roll this green ball through the scene here. So, if you're looking over there, here I go. So, there it goes. So, yes, it does work. Alright, so it's finally time to show you what this camera can do. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and show some sample photos I took, and also, of course, some sample video. Now, for both the photos and video, I shot in the highest resolution possible for the given mode. And as far as settings, I left everything in the default or auto. So, here we go. And now it's time to put the waterproof claim to the test. So, as you can guess, back there I have a bowl full of water, and we're going to go ahead and submerge this, of course, once it's inside its waterproof shell, and we'll see if there are any leaks. I'll hold it under, I'll swish it around a little bit, and we'll then dry it off and open it up, and hopefully my camera will not be soaking wet. So, I'm putting it in its shell. Make sure you got that nice and tight. Okay, so it's in there. Now it's time for it to go take a dunk. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, so let's see. I haven't opened it yet. I'm just drying up the water that was underneath the hinge here. Okay. Now, actually opening it. And there we go. I don't see any water. Yep, look good. Alright, so I feel it's about time to go ahead and answer or attempt to answer a question that most of us have probably been asking, and that is this as good as a GoPro? And before I try to answer that, I want to put down two disclaimers. The first one regarding the GoPro Hero 5 Black, which is the camera I will be briefly comparing this to. Now, I've never used the Hero 5 Black, so I don't know if it does this better or does this worse. My knowledge of the Hero 5 Black comes down to what I got off of a spec sheet. Alright, the second disclaimer is regarding this camera here, which the review is about. And although I've had this camera for a few months now, my use of it has come down to be pretty much exclusively footage I needed to make this review. So I do not know how this camera holds up month after month of use and abuse. Don't know. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and do this comparison quick here. And instead of putting up a whole spreadsheet for the Hero 5 Black, I just made this little cheat card. And you see I've broken up into better and worse. In the better category are all the features the Hero 5 has that this camera does not. So Bluetooth, voice control, a touch display, front LCD, 3 microphones, and stereo audio. This camera here that I'm doing the review on only has one mic and therefore has only mono audio. Now, getting back to the Hero 5 here, if you look down, there's a worse category, and that's because the Hero 5 Black evidently only has a 12 megapixel sensor, as where this camera here has 16. So, now, some people are going to buy based on personal preference. However, I think most consumers are probably going to look at the features versus dollar figure. And so, because I mentioned dollar, we kind of have to bring up how much the Hero 5 Black costs. Now, I went to a few retailers, and the price for the Hero 5 Black at the time of recording this are pretty uniform across the board, and that is $299. So let's just say $300 to make it simple. Now this device here, of course the price is going to vary considerably more because of the fact that it is an unbranded generic and also that it's sold primarily online, and so the price may fluctuate some. However, from what I've seen, you should not be paying more than $50 for this setup here. Alright, so with that being said, are those features there worth $250? To some, they may. Alright, so, but I can speak for myself, obviously, and what I have to say is this. The footage I retrieved from using this device, I was actually surprised how good it was. I thought it was going to be way worse. So I was happy with the video. I was happy with the photos. And yeah, and the price point, when you mix that in, it's pretty much a win-win. You're getting good performance, maybe not the best, but you're getting good performance. We saw the video, you saw the photos, and the price point makes it so that if I should lose this, if it should get damaged, keep in mind it's going to be put in more extreme scenarios than, say, the camera that I'm filming this video with. Well, yeah, if I should lose it, it's going to be upsetting, but, you know, only $50 upsetting, not 300 plus. So I think now the question actually becomes more of, is GoPro and brands such as GoPro, the big boys, are they doing enough to really stay that much ahead of these competitors, especially ones with no name